Well, I'll start with you, Femi. I do not know if I'll call this a revenge. But trust me, this is too much of a revenge because I do not know what's going on. But having to destroy somebody's roofing that was just completed a few hours ago, and somehow they got to find out, and they actually, Aboki were actually there. Let me use that word. They were actually there. They saw them when they just finished, and I don't know what they've done right now. But what do you say about this?
I need to say that an average Nigerian, from irrespective of the tribe, irrespective of background, irrespective of exposure, I've come to realize. You see, I've come to realize that we just have that vengeful spirit, and whatever it takes a situation and occasion to call for it before you see that person that has been smiling with you can actually be a lion to someone else. That I'm smiling to doctor today. It's not enough for doctor to think I'm a good person. Because there could be somebody else that sees me as a demon because of how I continually behave to him or her.
Does it mean that person is a demon?
So no, that's where I'm going. Okay. So the point is, I've come to realize that let's remove religion, let's remove our regions, let's remove ethnicity. Human behavior, naturally, Nigerians and average Nigerians have tendencies to be wicked and to be nice. But it's on what the occasion calls for. But is that the right thing to do? No. But the truth is it's human behavior. And when, just like what we said earlier, when there are no consequences, when there are no severe, let me not say consequences, when there are no severe consequences for bad behavior, when there are rewards, positive rewards for bad behavior because of who feels helped by your bad behavior, then people tend to act more in the bad way because they know they will be rewarded. But when there are severe consequences, you think twice before you take those actions. So I am of the opinion that the right thing to do is that those guys should be picked up, those guys should be locked up, their intentions should be found out. Then when they now want to colorize this in ethnic coloration, every Nigerian should stand up and say, no, we are only judging these people based on their actions. It has nothing to do with where they come from or who they are.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jide. Do you think this is as a result of maybe the killing that happened the last time in Edo State?
What you see in Edo State does not happen in Edo State alone. It happens in Lagos. It happens everywhere. I can tell you a personal story of a friend whose wife is based in the United States of America and constructed a building to use for commercial purpose, and then the people that installed the electrical appliances and the rest of it, it cut across region, it cut across tribe, like you said, and then they pillaged that building, just like our leaders pillage our national resources. So it is not what you see, it's what people do to various agencies of government. That's how they pillage, and let me help myself. That's the spirit, and that's the character, and that's the level with which our name has gotten to. That I have to help myself because we have been left to self-help by those that we have given responsibility to. When people that should not be celebrated, we have upped the ante in celebrating materialism and ill-gotten wealth, and so it is the person that has money, that has wealth, that is celebrated in our society. So you don't care where that resources is coming from. So everybody has become a bandit. Are you getting my everybody has become. You have political banditry. You have economic banditry. You have political rascal. So it comes across every strata of the society. What you are seeing is just a reflection of what happened in state government, what happened in federal government, what happened in local government, and what happened in ministry departments and agencies of government where people resort to self-help. People that should be the guardian of public trust are the ones that are pillaging. Can you imagine what those ones have done? They knew, and I can tell you, they have the knowledge and the competence to install it and to remove it. Because if you don't have the knowledge, it is those that installed that roofing that actually removed it. Because if you don't have the knowledge and the competence, You can't remove it clearly as they remove it. So it has nothing to do with tribe, like he said. It has nothing to do with religion. It is the sorry situation we have found ourselves, that people don't see dignity in labor again. There's no dignity in labor. We celebrate mediocrity. We celebrate criminality. All you need to do, I don't know whether it was Socrates that said it, that if you are not careful, democracy will allow criminals to take control of government. Because democracy will give you what you don't want. Because once you are able to win the majority, either through coup or means to your side, then you can have it. And look at the quality of people that have access to public power.
Well, so sad. Very, very sad. Well, anyways, let's move over to the next topic. And this one is about Wike. Of course, what he said, I wanted outrightly to remove Fubara, and that is actually what is happening right now. So I'm going to read a short story on that. Yes, Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, has declared his support for President Bola Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in River State, adding that he would have preferred the outright removal of the suspended governor, Fubara. Wike made this on Friday, April 18, during in Abuja. President Tinubu last month declared, of course, a state of emergency, and he has suspended Fubara. And of course, there has been a lot of back and forth about why would Wike even be bold enough to come out to make such a statement. Actually, I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Jide. I don't want to start with our politician in the house because I'm sure he has a lot to say. Let's start with you. Why do you think, I don't know, like you said something very valid. You said you are not sure if it's Socrates that said that, saying that sometimes democracy can bring in criminals to rule because majority is what they are concerned about. Now, look at this. For someone coming out to make such a statement, don't you think something should even be done about that? I feel like there's so much power inside of him to have actually come out saying nothing can be done to him.
Well, this one is actual quotation by Thomas Jefferson,
okay,
the author of American Declaration of Independence. He said the two enemies of the people are the criminals and the government. He said, let us tie the latter to the chains of the Constitution so that there won't be any need for the former. Said the two enemies of the people are criminals and government. And you see, my own take concerning this is that people should understand that nobody rules forever. The only person that has permanent. At the point in time, we have one Mr. Fix-It from Edo State. At the twilight of this, at the labyrinth of this democratic experience, the most powerful person was Tony Anemi. And then, where is he today? They will soon be byword. You see, most of these people, they only talk because they have access. Remove the Minister of Federal Capital Territory from his name. Who is he?
But do you think
no, I'm saying, remove the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. Some people are governors. 25 years ago, we are there today. I remember the governor of Akwa Ibom State, 1999 to 2007. All powerful governor. Where is he today? I remember some governors of some certain state. You see, Nigerian so-called leaders, they are not leaders, they are dealers. Because they enter into one political deal and they have access to one public office, which gives them leverage. Once you remove that, their leadership is by position, not by their personhood. So take away, I'm saying it, and the media has given a lot of importance to irrelevant people. I don't know, I wish the minister can invite me to come and interview him and ask him tough questions. And because people that go to interview him don't even ask him tough. There's difference between journalism and patronism. Majority of the interview Wike grants is patronism. Those journalists that go to interview, they are patronizing him. They are not asking him serious questions.
It has nothing to do with his office as the federal minister of federal capital. No question, none of the questions he was asked had to do with the position. They were asking about River, saying where is no longer the governor. So you understand, that's where I agree. It's this level. I understand that it's actually called, they were just patronizing him. But I want to add a few things. And the point is, I think Nigerians, we choose for ourselves people we think can help us at the moment without looking at the long term. If some of us have aspired for several positions, and we won't vote it because we don't have enough resources, or we don't have someone to push out that cash and say, you see this guy, he will deliver, even when they know that you are intellectually sound. So when they now need policies, to write policy papers, to write whatever, they know who to call, they will call us. But when they now want who will now implement, there's that gap between the implement. Nigeria is blessed with people that can write serious paper. That's why implementation is where we fail. Because you believe those that are actually brainy, all other nations will actually push to leadership, only deserve to work probably on paper without them being seen going forward. What His Excellency Nyesom Wike said in that interview, sadly, is the state of it. There's likely no state that you can point to in Nigeria that do not have key people. I think the right word is probably cabals that have their own camp that determines and decides whose turn. In fact, there was a position I was aspiring for. I already bought form, and like they called me, do you want to waste money? I said no. Before it can get to your turn, you have to wait for number 15. Do you know how many? By that number 15, I should be probably 70.
Because you know what? Because the actual leaders that we have is not, their access to power is not determined by the will of the people. The sovereignty they have does not come from the people. The sovereignty they have comes from the judiciary. So we are not practicing democracy. What we have is judiciocracy. The outcome of the election is not determined by the ballots, by the votes that were cast and the ballots that were declared. They were declared by the courts. It is the courts that determine. And if you have the judiciary to your side, you already have access to power. You could see with the kind of confidence, there's no recourse, there's no dignity, there's no respect even for public opinion, public outcry against their action. They just talk as if they own Nigeria. Let it be clear, own Nigeria. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, sir. I'm just saying. But don't you think the president called him to order? Because, like you said, he has so much confidence when he talks. Don't you think he should be called to order at this point? Because, he talks arrogantly. It's like, oh, there's nothing that can be done to me. Fubara, I wanted him to be president, saved him. I mean, for a minister talking to his sitting governor, don't you think it's hard time the president should call to order?
The higher you go on the mountain, the easier for you to fall. The higher you go on the mountain, his fall will be the greatest fall. It's just, when you think you are strong, that's when you are weak, that's when you are vulnerable. You could see that, for example, you subject that statement which he made concerning the president, questioning who is the president without him. You see, when, in my local dialect, when a drum wants to burst, it will be beaten at its hardest and loudest level. So it's just, the bubble will soon burst.
Then another thing I would like to
wait, Femi, before you respond to that, let me ask this, because as regards to what both of you said, Dr. Jide said something, but you agreed to it. He said, because most of the people that went to interview Wike did not go as professional journalists. You understand? It's more of, rather than journalism, it's patronizing him. Now, I want to ask, if he wasn't asked this question, we would have known that this is exactly what's in the mind, because I think your question might not necessarily be on that what he's doing, but necessarily on what is buzzing, what is the concern of people, and what is, I don't know, the heartaches of people right now. So I do not want to agree with that.
What is the essence of interviewing him? That's the first question.
I
talking about River State or talking about his duties as the minister?
I understand your perspectives, and the truth is, if he's paying for the airtime, he will pays the piper. I'm so sure that they would have even typed their questions and showed his probably his essay, who is my friend, Larry. They would have shown him, and he would decide which of this can fly, this can. That's how it happens at the political level. This can't fly. No, this can't fly. Oh, let's fly with this. And once he approves, then, once you now try to ask beyond whatever was approved, they will go on the commercial break and they'll give you the warning. They will warn you. He has the security. So what are you talking about?
Femi, it looks like you joined them for this interview.
No, that's
because you know the secret.
no, that's politics. It's politics because he wants everything to be centered around him. If I'm a politician and you are coming to interview me and you now want to talk about what I'm not doing, then you know.
But I don't see the way you said it. You know why I say that? Because if you look at Fubara and Wike, they've been trending, even Natasha as being the basic trend in politics more, aside from the killings and all of that. So I think if I even want to interview Wike, I want to go deep inside. I want to know exactly what's in his mind. Not even necessarily about
how many ministers of Federal Capital Territory granted the number
of interviews.
How many ministers under the present administration has granted the number of interviews that Nation Wiki has granted? Okay. How many? You see, I think sometimes we forget what is the responsibility of our industry. The media is the institution of order, is the fourth estate of the realm, is the institution that is meant to be the watchdog of the side, not the pet dog, not the lap dog, not the praise dog. You see, what we have seen is that the media has turned to a pet dog, the media has turned to a lap dog, the media has turned to a praise dog, praise singing. It is Section 22 of 1999 Constitution makes an exclusive provision that the media shall be the watchdog of the society and shall hold government accountable. Accountability is bringing your account to the table, bring it to the table. Where in the Constitution, he said it, the follow-up question, where in the Constitution do you derive the power to remove a sitting governor as a minister? That should have been the follow-up question. That should have been the follow-up question. And then the President Tinubu said, so it was your political conversation. Another question. So you people had a political conversation secretly, and you had an agreement with the president to impose a state of emergency on your state that you ruled for 8 years. These are the type of questions you ask based on the responsibility which you has given. Show us in the Constitution the provision. Show us where you derive that power and that authority. And then people, we have an understanding of, so that we know that there is order. That's the responsibility of the media. It's an institution of order. Not to be praising. He can pay for the airtime, but he does not have control over the discourse.
Well, I agree with you, but like I said, I thought you were saying questions were outrightly not what
No.
Okay, so
I also say this.
Yeah.
You see, Wike is His Excellency, Joseph Wike, is the monster that people have built.
There's nothing in Nigerian culture that requires them to be called His Excellency.
There's nothing
excellent about there's nothing excellent about this character. Their disposition, their action, and their attitude does not represent any excellent behavior. There's nothing whatsoever. You see, look, the way they display is like people on the street, garage politics. That's that. You see,
just that they are packaged, politically packaged.
So, right, I have a message. We can ask the questions actually. Okay. I have a message here. Let me just read this so we can have a reaction. Good afternoon, crew. Beautiful Nubia said in the song, money is that money we know, we do not look at character. Okay, it's money we know, we do not look at character. We look at faces and not look at competencies. That is why ignorant men choose agberos to rule over them. When you choose people because it's your bar or it's from my state or religion, corruptness, okay, or from my state or religion, corruption, let me correct that, corruption, lawlessness, and above the law, over competence, capacity, credibility, and vision. The result is this nightmare we are in Nigeria today. Defending this government's incompetence, lack of capacity, and visionless talkmaster makes that person stupid. It is a shame that the worst of us is really the best of us. Truly, there was a country. This is Daya from Lagos. Thank you very much, Daya. Okay, do you agree with it? You were saying something.
Well, that is entitled to his own opinion. But now, what I was saying is, Wike is who he is today because I've lost him long ago, and people were hailing when all of the actions back then were not in support of the sitting government. But now that he has now turned, you know, when you buy a pet snake and you're feeding it, and you are happy it's killing other chickens. And then when it's now big enough, it now begins to kill your own chicken. Things have now gone out of you, and that is the situation with you. So, because I also expected that when he said, "Who is the president without him?" I expected that Bayon Onuga, who is always at the forefront of responding to anything, to say something, but everyone refused to react. He didn't say anything. So I want to make you observe, sir.
Because in democracy, if you're able to convince a madman to line up behind you, and it's a plus for you, you have 8 sane people behind you. I have 9. Listen, I have 9 insane people behind me. In democracy, I win.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And that's why they perpetuate poverty. They impoverish the people, and they come at the end of the 4 years and they give people money, because if Esau could sell his birthright with all his inheritance that he has, how much more ordinary mortal human being? So every 4 years they just give you crumbs, and then you go, you vote for them. So if I'm able to convince 9 insane people to kill behind me, and you have 8 sane people behind you, in democracy I am the leader. And so they know the caliber of people they go to look for to win the election. And that's why people have said that in democracy the right form of government for us in Africa. That's another conversation for another day.
Well, that's a conversation for another day. We have to wrap up the show. I would have really loved to pick up. Apologies to all our callers who have been calling. We're not able to pick up and read a lot of messages, but at least we read Dio. Dio is one of our, one of our toughest fans for the buzz and a viewer for the show. Anyways, I would like to appreciate you, Dr.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much for being on the program. You really gave us a lot of quotes and gave us the meanings to it. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much, Femi Chacha. As always, table shaker, table breaker.
Thank you for having me.
Act like a politician today.
No,
I'm a public analyst. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Patricia, Rafa, let's go.
Thank you, Doctor, for coming. Thank you, Femi. So we ask that, we wish you to come again, Doctor. Femi is always here. Femi is a house family. The doctor were begging and we're asking in public that you join us again to continue where you have stopped today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Patricia Gabriel.
All right. Oh, yes. Have a beautiful day for yourself. And of course, if you have missed the show and you want to hear what our amazing talk about today, DJ and Femi Chacha, you can go back to our YouTube page today and watch this on the buzz. Until we meet again tomorrow at the same time, 12:05, talking about what's buzzing and what's trending on social media. My name is I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day for yourself. Bye for now.